Post-Dispatch reporter, good friend of the show, Nick Pister joins us. Good morning, Nick Pister.
Good morning, McGraw.
So the out of committee yesterday, I found it interesting because at one point Antonio French was talking about filibustering this, and all of a sudden now he voted for it. What happened?
Well, I think a lot of political dealing has happened. I think it's actually probably worked out quite well for Antonio. Antonio French really has sort of emerged in this as the person to watch. He's sort of built a coalition in an effort to actually get something out of this. I think knowing that, this is most likely going to pass. So it looks like Antonio went to the table and put in this minority participation program into the plan, which basically requires for any new construction of this stadium for them to have specific goals to hire at least 37% minorities when building it, which is a very, very big goal, very lofty goal. But I think in doing that, Antonio has now positioned himself as someone to watch. And I got to be honest with you, McGraw, I never thought Antonio would actually run for mayor or even possibly a higher office, but now I'm starting to think so. If you look at the actions he's taken in the last few months, he opposed the mayor's plan to raise minimum wage. He's putting himself in a good position with the business community. And now he's making them look like, hey, he's the person who's reasonable. So he moved the bar over so it looked like they had to have his vote, and he was going to do all these crazy things like filibustering it. And now he's giving them something that they want, and he's getting something really big that he wants in return.
It's nice to say they're going to have 37% minority participation, but they couldn't hit the numbers they wanted earlier in earlier projects. So if you can't get 10% minority participation, how are you going to get 37% minority participation?
It's going to be tough. They've also put some things in there, and they're working on trying to get training and stuff for people, particularly in the city, so they are eligible and qualified for these jobs. I doubt that they'll be able to meet the 37%, but I guess the intent to try is worthwhile in the sense that one of the biggest problems in the city is this economic disparity, particularly for younger black men, and the city struggled to address that problem. And by putting this into the plan, whether it's ever going to work or not, it has given the stadium proponents the exact thing that they needed to get this through the committee. Everyone thought it was going to be a razor-thin vote. By the time everybody looked around, it was a landslide. It was 7-2.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Nick
Pister with us talking about the city and the final vote, I guess, for the stadium proposal. Megan Green is an alderman, and you, in your story, pointed out a couple of interesting tweets she had yesterday.
Yeah, Megan Green is an alderman. She represents the Tower Grove area. She has been very opposed to the stadium. She's asked for a public vote. She's filed a bill for that. That was rejected. She's not on this committee that was considering it, but she's on the full board that will consider it in a few weeks. And after the board passed forward this legislation, she went to Twitter and she said that bribes are happening and there's corruption and there's this and that and whatever. And, some people, sort of hit back at her, and she's sort of not specific as far as what type of bribes, what type of corruptions happen, but said that people have offered loved ones of hers bribes, not necessarily saying what they are. And then she's walked that back a little bit. So I can't tell you, I don't know what's going on, but that's what she's saying is going on.
Yeah, it sounds like this was all happening on Twitter, and then Lewis Reed, as you write in your story, that he said, hey, provide some names, that would be helpful, and she, as you say, walked back some of her comments and then said something along the lines of, just because it's legal doesn't mean it's ethical. So
yeah, and, obviously I wouldn't be surprised if, there was corruption or dirty politics going on in City Hall at some point, whether what her classification is of being legal is right or not. I don't know. She's only been there for about a year and a half, so she may have jumped the gun. I don't know.
Yeah, interesting, though. But there's no doubt that this will probably pass the full Board of Aldermen.
It appears that they have the votes. I think the minority participation thing has gone a long way. I think a few weeks ago people were saying, it was going to be a struggle to get this out of the committee, and then even a bigger struggle to get it through the board. And then yesterday, when they go through and they pass it 7-2,
right,
with very little, it was quite a effort. So I think it will certainly pass.
Nick Pister, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Thanks for reading the tea leaves for us. Have a good day.
Thank you.
724, Big 550, KTRS. I was not shocked because, as I've said from the beginning, billionaires get what they want. 724, Big 550, KTRS. Number